Diablo 4 has a big gambling problem, or at least that is my opinion. What I am talking about is the gear acquisition system currently in the game. This whole system is designed around randomness and the chance that you might find what you're looking for, but probably won't. And while you aren't gambling with your money here, you're still gambling with your time. Some of you may now think that this only is a problem for the 1% of players that bother to try and get good stats on their gear and not for the average player. But I disagree. I think that the current design for gear acquisition leads to problems within many of the core functionalities within the game. I have personally never been a big fan of the gacha model in games, because besides the general issues with gambling and its addictive nature, to me, gambling in a game usually makes the game feel more annoying, and I often become more relieved than happy when I get what I was looking for. Mainly because it means that I can stop grinding and actually play the game the way I choose to. In Diablo 4, this happens because while playing the game, you pick up a lot of items, which you then need to look through to see if you got any good rolls on your affixes or not. And once you have a full inventory of items, which you get all the time, you have to go to a town to sell all of your leftover loot, which is basically everything, and of course there's no sell all button currently in the game. And doing all of this creates an abundance of loading screens when you have to teleport back and forth all the time. And don't even get me started on the gear repair mechanic, which has the exact same problem. All of these problems lead to the occurrence of tedious tasks that add no value to the gameplay and do nothing but worsen the player experience. One thing that Blizzard added to Diablo 4, probably because of the critique from Diablo 3 that it was boring to only run nightmare dungeons, was new ideas like the Tree of Whispers and Hell Tides. These are supposed to be some optional content you can do instead of running nightmare dungeons. And while I believe the new ideas to be good additions to the game, they pretty fast become obsolete to many players. This happens because all content in the game provides the player with the same type of rewards, which are mainly items, but also some XP. But the Nightmare Dungeons provide more items and more often uniques. They give more XP, and they are also the only way to get XP to your glyphs. This means that as soon as you unlock Nightmare Dungeons, they are the best thing to run, and probably about the only thing that you will do. I would prefer if they had a more segregated structure, so that Hell Tides and the Tree of Whispers gave you something more unique to grind for. For example, the Tree of Whispers could give you XP or materials to level up or unlock legendary affixes, and Hell Tides could maybe give you the ability to level up normal affixes to the items. Now this is only an example, not a completely fleshed out idea, but doing something along these lines could give the game a little bit of variety and give players more of a reason to explore and be in the open world that Blizzard has created for the game. Now, something I have noticed with many new players is that they usually don't want to take the time to learn everything about the game and just want to play. So they will look up builds and guides for the game to use instead. Many of these builds are somewhat dependent on certain legendary affixes, or maybe even uniques, and if getting these affixes and items are based on chance, then some unlucky players don't get what they want and aren't really able to play their build until level 50 or 60, which could take them weeks to reach. And I'm only talking about getting all the legendaries for that build. I mean, I played a Necromancer minion build, and I didn't get the legendary affix that allows you to have 2 extra skeletal warriors until I got to level 70. Is it really necessary to keep people so long from being able to play the game to the fullest? Now, of course, there still needs to exist a form of progression within the game, but I believe that the progression system doesn't need to be designed around chances and a randomness factor. Another problem that I personally have with the current system is that I like to test a variety of different builds on my character to see what works and what feels good. But with the current limited stash space and the fact that I would need to grind for a completely new set of gear to be able to test the build at its best and actually see what it's capable of, which I don't have time to do, means that I can't do that much testing and build swapping. This limits the amount of fun I can have in the game. Now, this problem is not a problem for the average player, because they are not interested in build testing, and it's not a gigantic problem because many gear affixes works for all build, but it's still what I believe to be an unnecessary inconvenience within the game. My best guess to why the loot system is designed this way is that it is meant to prolong the amount of time you can spend playing the game. To me, that feels completely unnecessary, especially when it already takes a lot of time to reach level 100, and there are 5 different classes you can accomplish this with. And every few months you're going to have to restart from level 1 again if you want to play the new content anyway. So I think Diablo 4 really doesn't need to have items as another function that will consume so much time as a part of the game. That was all I had to say. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.